So we're pleased to announce a very strong set of first half year results. Our TPV, which is the amount of volume that we process across our platform, increased by 153% upon the first half of 2017. And actually the job that people pay us to do is to recruit new paying users for our customers. And we had 10.3 million people use our platform in the month of June 2018. So really stellar performance. And those two leading indicators were the drivers of a really strong revenue performance. So we posted $16.9 million of revenue for the first half of 18. That's up 66% year on year. Now we talk an awful lot in the business about scale, the importance of being a scale business with a broadly fixed cost base, and every bit of revenue growth that we generate, eventually will fall down to EBITDA or to cash. And so we were able to improve on our margins by pushing more of that volume through our platform in the first half. And our gross margin percentage increased to 92.4%. And that's up from what was an average in 2017 of 91%. So our gross profit for the half year was up 71%. And what that means is we were able to invest some of that overperformance back into a couple of things really. So we spent $13 million in the first half of the year, and that was 10% more than we spent last year. But let me just break that down. Some of that additional spend went into shoring up our existing platform, building more capacity so we can add yet more volume and more scale. We did a data center migration, and all that does is add latent processing capabilities that we can use in the future. And then we've also started to lay seeds for our new product portfolio. So we've started to spend money exploring possibilities such as mobile identity. And John will talk to you about those in a second. But despite increased investment in our OPEX, we were still able to post a positive adjusted EBITDA number of $2.5 million for the first half. And that's up from what was a negative $2.8 million for the first half last year. That's a turnaround of $5.3 million, pretty impressive performance. At a net accounting level, we lost $680,000 for the first half of the year, and that's an improvement on the $6.8 million that we posted as an accounting loss for the first half of last year. So again, we're 90% better at the net accounting level than we were a year ago. Elsewhere on our balance sheet, our cash balances are strong. The balance at the end of June was $30.7 million. However, that sort of doesn't really truly reflect the ebbs and flows of our settlement business. So we measure ourselves now more on the average daily cash balances, and that smooths out the effects of any kind of ins and outs of settlement. And actually our daily average cash balances of $23.1 million was up from $19.2 million at the end of December. And that is a reflection of the fact that more and more now EBITDA that we're generating is starting to turn into cash. From a debt point of view, we reduced our debt again down from $2.4 million down to 2.2. And it reflects our focus on reducing our cost of funding. We've also paid to early exit from a factoring facility that we had, which means going forward that our interest expenses are going to come down. So net, we believe we're now in a very strong position to continue to fund future growth. Yeah, so it's really key for us that we continue to invest in the business. And as you've seen from our first half year results, the underlying business, the direct carrier billing business is strong. There's continued growth, and we talk a lot about scale, which means we have a fixed cost of running our platform. We have bags of spare capacity. So going forward, we don't anticipate having to invest huge amounts of money in our carrier billing business, but it's growing strongly. And that means, we are going to be generating more and more EBITDA, and that will turn into cash. But actually, equally, we're mindful of the fact that we want to then start to feed and fund new growth opportunities. And a good example of that is the mobile identity products that we've started to invest in this year. So while we're absolutely mindful of delivering to all of our EBITDA promises for investors, we're also very keen to start to invest some of that overperformance into funding growth that's going to deliver in 2019, 2020 and beyond.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes quite problematic for us because we can't sort of go through, because many of our merchants don't want us to say exactly what our plans are going to be. But we can point to sort of public domain information and also give you information in the aggregate. At the end of the year, we had something like 108 of our most advanced connections, and that's the connections we operate for people like Apple and Sony and Spotify and Google and Microsoft. And we'd managed to increase that at the half year to 128. So a significant increase going forward. And these new connections will drive increases obviously within the half, but they also drive increases in volume that compound over the next couple of years on average as more users or more users within those particular networks that are being hooked up discover the ability to buy things and charge it through to their phone bill. So really pleased with some of that advancement. We're working a whole range of new products. I mean, one that we've talked about is around the whole mobile identity area. You'll have heard Stuart talking about it. And we've made some important progress there. Although we don't expect to have a material impact on revenue in this year, we are able to talk about the fact we're now doing proof of concepts with a couple of quite important companies. And so we're working with Yahoo, who have come to us and said, well, can you help us deal with some of the problems of mobile ad fraud? The problem of people clicking or generating clicks and not even sure that there's a person at the other end. That's something that we're really trying to be able to fix with some of our mobile identity technology. And in addition, Hook, who are a streaming video provider operating in Asia, have come to us and used our mobile identity product to help them customize their product. So these are proofs of concept. We'll have to see where they get to, but it really is good evidence of demand for our product in the mobile identity space that we're really pleased about. Of course, we've got a ton of other things up our sleeves that we're not quite ready to talk about, but it's been a really productive year for us, or half year, in terms of new product developments. I couldn't be happier, if I'm honest with you. I mean, we've been set some pretty demanding sort of targets as far as expectations from the analyst community is concerned, and we're confident about our ability to meet these, in fact, recently upgraded targets as well. One reason why I'm confident about that is if you look at our current trading, we publish non-financial key performance indicators, and as at the end of August, they were still sort of going sort of full steam ahead. So as far as the total payment volume is concerned, in the first 8 months of 2017, we'd processed something like $0.9 billion. First 8 months of 2018, $2.2 billion. It's a heck of a lot. Even more important, and perhaps the job that our customers really hire us to do, which is to get them paying users. At the June period, as you've heard Stuart say, we'd been at 10.3 monthly active users. August, 11.3 monthly active users. So the growth is really sort of trending in the right direction, and I look forward to the future with real confidence.